Welcome back to the Shop Mini RC. I'm Ken, and today we're talking about the version 2 SCX24 remote. Now, most of this is, take this off for easy showing. Most of this is pretty straightforward, but there's some cool little features. We're not going to do the lights, but some trim and dual rate settings for your channel 3 and channel 4, as well as throttle, which there's no throttle dual rate just on buttons, but there is a way to do it. So let's check it out. So most of you know the basic features of the version 2 remotes for the SCX24. We have our steering reverse and our throttle reverse and our bind button, steering trim plus and minus, throttle trim plus and minus, and the steering dual rate plus and minus. Trim is our center, right? And dual rate is how far it will go. So if your servo maxes out here, right, your dual rate will lessen that. So you'll max out like this. That way you're not overextending and breaking parts and whatnot. We can show it here. So we're going to max our steering, and we'll turn down our steering dual rate, and you'll see the steering slowly turns in. And now that's our max. Those are called endpoints as well. So that's how you reduce breaking your servo or burning up your servo. You basically want to max it out and turn it up until you start to see your servo push, but your steering doesn't push any further, right? I'm going to turn it down a little bit. There we go. And now you lose maybe just a fraction of your steering, but you will save your servo a lot of wear and tear. All right, and then obviously trim is your center point. Now an interesting thing of note is when you're doing your steering trim, or any trims, see how it just double blinks green? Green, green, green. If we go back, green, 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 double blink. That double blink means that that's center. So you can get everything set to center on the remote in the channel and the servo, and then set your servo horns to center if you're putting on a new servo or whatever. So make sure your trim is centered before you center your servo horns. That'll give you the max left and right. If your trim's not centered, if your trim isn't centered and you put your steering horn on and center it that way, you're going to limit your left and right because you're not actually at full center before you start to trim it. All right, so let's get to the stuff that you don't know about potentially. The whole reason you're watching this video. Our channel 3 right here, right? You have a left, right, and center. So there's center. And there's our left and right. And our channel 4 is the button here, and it's a full left or right. There's no center. Okay? Those also do control our lights, if you notice our lights blinking and turning on and off. But the actual channel 3 and channel 4 are for servos. You can use lights there as well, but then you can't put servos. A lot of people like to use channel 3 for winches. So basically when it's at center, the winch is not moving, and then you can go like this, and with the right servo, it'll just keep going that direction and spool your winch, and then you can stop it and then unspool your winch, right? So that, or left, right, and center for rear wheel steering. And we have videos on that. We'll post over here. Channel 4 can be used to do many different things. One of the things I've seen somebody do is put the servo on their suspension and lift and raise the truck. You can use it to turn a driver's head or open a door or whatever else. You can't really use it as a winch servo because that'll be full spool on, it'll just go, and that'll be full spool the opposite direction, it'll just go, there's no stop. But there's a lot of different things you can do with the channel 4 servo. So channel 3 is a 3 position, and channel 4 is what they call a key switch. All right, so one of the issues is centering your channel 3. How do you center a channel 3 if you're using it for rear steering? Or even more so, how do you adjust the dual rate? Well, there's no buttons here for it, but these buttons here are actually what they call multiplexed as trims for channel 3 and 4, which means you can use the steering trim and steering dual rate to trim your channel 3 and dual rate your channel 3 and trim your channel 4 and dual rate your channel 4. How do you do that? You just double click on the bind. So there's going to be 4 modes. The first mode, it's going to blink twice. That means you're on channel 2. So channel 2 is our throttle, right? What that means, however, is we can adjust our servo travel on channel 2. What that is your dual rate on channel 2. So watch this. If I pick this up and I throttle it, our body's going. If we pick this up and we throttle it, you can actually use dual rate to slow our throttle down. And that's like our endpoints. So now we can actually move pretty slow. That's max throttle. And you can actually throttle it all the way down to where it's basically not moving. Okay? So our first mode is channel 2. If you double click the bind button, within 2 seconds, it'll start blinking twice, and that means you're on channel 2. Now your steering trim is still going to be your channel 1 trim, right? So it's still going to adjust the trim on your steering. There you go. When it blinks twice like that, again, you're centered. So if you just double click bind again, now you'll see 3 blinks. That means your steering dual rate and your steering trim are going to act as your channel 3. So if we do this, we can now adjust our trim. So we'll be on center, we're adjusting our trim. Okay, and that's our max trim adjustment one way. We'll go back to center here. It blinks twice, that means we're at center. And then we can adjust our dual rate. And you can see it minimizes our travel. Okay, that way you don't burn up your rear steer servo, or you're not spinning too quickly on your spool release in and out on your winch. Okay, we can max that back out. All right, so another double click and we're going to blink 4 times, and now we are on channel 4. And you can see we can adjust our trim here as well. You can barely see it moving, but it is. And again, that double blink, when it double blinks like that, that means we're at center. We can keep going if we want, but we're not gonna. We'll just go to our double blink so we're centered. And there's our full left and full right, and we can adjust our dual rate there as well. Pretty cool, guys. So again, it's as simple as double click your bind. When you double click it again, it goes to a single blink, which is your channel 1 back to normal basically, or you can power off and power back on, and it'll reset your multiplex on what your trim is adjusting. So now we're just back to our channel 1 steering and throttle and steering dual rate, just like normal. So that's a cool way to be able to adjust your rear wheel steering, trim, and dual rate, as well as your channel 4. And as you saw, we could adjust our throttle dual rate, which is not on here, just throttle trim is, but you can use your steering dual rate in mode 2 and do your channel 2, which is throttle dual rate, to slow it down, which is good for new drivers, I guess, if you really want to slow the rig down. These aren't super fast, but maybe if this went into a faster RC or something, that's where you would use that, because they also have a beginner mode, and the beginner mode is designed to limit the throttle to 50%. Now, I don't know if you'd ever need that in a crawler, but you can do that. And the way you switch between beginner mode and normal mode is you basically press and hold the channel 4 button and turn the hand wheel to the bottom counterclockwise, and then turn on the transmitter. So we'll turn it on like so. And now we should be at 50% throttle. Okay. So to undo the beginner mode, you're going to do the same thing. Turn everything off, hold channel 4, counterclockwise, turn it on, and now we should be full speed again. Again, I would rather just double click our bind mode, get into channel 2, and turn down our dual rate for throttle. That's just kind of easier to me. And then if you ever come back, you're like, well, I want full speed, you just double click your bind, go to channel 2, and up your steering dual rate, and you get max speed again. Okay? Pretty neat. All right, guys. I really hope that helped somebody out there that was trying to figure out how to adjust their channel 3 and 4 trims and dual rates. And if it did, make sure you give us a subscribe. It's just a click for you, but it means the world to us. Also, don't forget to like and share and click that notification bell so that you know when our new videos come out. Also, down below, let's comment, if you made it this far, let's comment dual rate. We'll just call it dual rate. We'll just put dual rate in the comments. That way you can say, I watched the whole video. All right, guys, until next time, get out there and run your cars, smash them, crash them, bash them, but don't break the expensive parts.